Okay, Caleb, I'm actually really excited for this segment. We're talking about the top 3 ways of identifying your strengths and weaknesses.
Which is huge for student leaders, right? Because you want to be able to contribute to your team in the best possible way. And how are you going to do that? I'll give you a hint.
Okay.
Find out ways to use your strengths and ways to delegate or avoid having to find areas of your weakness.
Yeah, exactly. And the thing with strengths and weaknesses is we've probably talked about it a few times on this podcast. We talked about using your strengths. But the question stands, how do I identify my strength as a student leader? How do I identify my weaknesses?
That's a very good question.
There's so many things you have to do throughout the year. Why should I just do my strengths, or why should I delegate my weaknesses? Why don't I just get into things?
Yep.
But it's really important that you actually contribute your strengths.
Essential, in fact.
Yes, it actually makes your team so much better if you do those things. But Caleb, we've talked so much about using your strengths, but now we're going to help student leaders actually identify what those strengths and weaknesses are. We've got the top 3 tips right now.
We might even use these tips and see if we can find our strengths and weaknesses later and let you know how we go.
Sounds good.
Let's test it out.
We'll update it in a further podcast.
I like it.
But for now, let's give the tips. How do we identify our strengths and weaknesses? Caleb, you go.
Okay, first, number 1, identifying your strengths and weaknesses. Number 1 is you have to try things.
Okay.
You're never going to know what you're good at and what you're not so good at unless you give it a try. You see, a trap to fall into is that you just don't try anything because you're worried you'll fail.
Yeah. Yep.
But you're never going to find out what you're good at if you haven't tried it in the first place.
Yes.
For me, singing.
Okay.
Singing's a funny story because I love to sing.
Yep.
I'd never done it before in my life. And one of my teachers back in school was like, dude, you are joining the school band. And I was like, great, I'll play keyboard because I play keyboard. And he's like, no, you're not playing keyboard. He's like, you're singing.
Okay.
And this was the day before. And I've never sung before. And my teacher was like, you're doing it.
Oh, wow.
And now I sing all the time.
Okay.
Do you want me to sing now?
No, that's all good.
Okay, maybe later.
We'll come back to another podcast
Number 1,
with that.
try things.
Try things. Okay. Caleb, number 2 is ask people. Now, I think this kind of goes into feedback. Now, not just any people. I think you have to keep accountable to different people. So once you've tried things, you have to ask people, what do you think? How did I go with this?
Yep.
Maybe ask the teachers who are overseeing the SRC or the team leadership, or maybe ask the different people in your leadership team. But you need to ask them, which of these things did I just contribute to that actually made a valuable contribution to our team? Which one of these things helped our team progress further? Maybe which one of these things did I not do so well at that maybe if future reference I should just delegate to someone else? And when you start looking at it from that team perspective, when you start looking at your things, getting feedback from people, then you'll probably realize, some of these things I'm really good at. Other people think I'm really good at them as well. I didn't actually feel like I was really good at taking notes, and people saw that. And so maybe I should just avoid taking notes in the future, but I'll keep doing event ideas because I'm really good at that.
That's
and
great.
everyone else saw that. So
that's great. Like we were talking about those awesome event ideas like a few podcasts back.
Yes,
the biggest Anzac cookie would cut. You're a genius, Ken.
No, I wasn't that great at event ideas back in school, but people told me that, and it's because I asked them.
Very
but
cool.
There you go. Number 2, how to find out strengths and weaknesses. Ask people. What's
nice
yours?
one. Let me wrap it up. Number 3.
Okay.
Understand. I love this. Understand that things are fluid.
Okay.
Let me explain to you what I mean by this.
Yes.
You see, you're not going to get good at everything you try straight away, right? And sometimes it's not going to work out the way you want it to. But sometimes it might be something you're good at, but it'll take time to progress to that point where you could actually consider it a strength of yours.
Yep.
So things are fluid. Things will change as you try them. So if you try and it doesn't work out the first time, that's okay.
Yep.
That's okay. Just get that feedback like you were talking about, right? Keep trying things like we were talking about. It's very important you understand that things will change. Things are fluid.
That's very true. I remember the first time I went surfing. I'd just gotten given a surfboard.
Was I there?
No, I don't think so. But
I remember some surfs.
It probably looks like the first time I went surfing because I was that bad. But I remember the first time I went surfing and I gave it a shot and I hated it so much because I was so bad at it. And I just said, I want to give up. But after a week of doing it, I was like, this is the best thing ever. I want to surf all the time.
Yeah.
And I think the same thing can happen for student leaders.
I totally agree. For student leaders, like you were talking about, those examples before, note-taking, playing event ideas, so many different things you got to do. Try them.
Yep.
Get feedback on them.
Yep.
But understand they're fluid. It might take time for you to upskill yourself to be a master of note-taking.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, a very fine art, that one.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah. So keep going. Keep going. That's the last tip there. Things are fluid.
Things are fluid.
This segment is from an episode of the Student Leadership News Podcast. To listen to the full episode, go to studentleadership.news or subscribe using your favourite podcast app.